Morning everybody, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This morning I'm going to be reacting to a video requested by Underground Blolari, aka UGB, aka Flipper. Yes, he has requested that I should react to the story of Chen Stormstout, part 1 lore, made on the YouTube channel Noble87. I haven't reacted to Noble87's videos for a very long time. World of Warcraft lore videos, so it's good to be back, reacting to Noble87 and Chen Stormstout. I know Chen from Mist of Pandaria. He is a very exceptional fighter. I remember when he was fighting against it's Garrosh, not Gormesh. Gormesh is the father, Garrosh is the son. Yes, I remember when he was fighting against Garrosh, and yeah, he had some moves, but Garrosh was fueled by his ambition, his anger, and no matter how good of a fighter Shen was, he can't beat this War Master. This War Master was just exceptional when it came to fighting, until he fought against Thrall, and it went topside for him. So yes, I remember Shen also from the Mist of Pandaria cinematic when he was fighting against a troll and a alliance sailor captain, I think. Yeah, and yeah, he wiped the floor with them. He was dancing and swerving around and just making things seem so easy and simple. And yeah, I remember Shen. He's a good fighter. He's a really good fighter. A cool looking panda, if I can say that. And yeah, let's see what Noble87 has to say about Chen Stormstout in part 1 lore of the story of Shen. Yeah, okay. Oh yes, remember, if you want to check out my previous reactions to other World of Warcraft content created by YouTubers, the playlist card for Warcraft Monday is going to be at the top here. Just click on it and be able to access them. If you want to check out the original video as well as Noble87's YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. Okay, let's start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello everyone.
Greetings, my friend. I am Chen Stormstout.
Wait, Chen Stormstout was in this is Warcraft 3, right? I don't remember seeing him in Warcraft 3 Reforged. I don't remember. Oh, okay.
Humble brewmaster of Pandaria.
That's how we were introduced to Chen.
Wait a minute. They knew about Pandaria in Warcraft 3? I thought Pandaria was only rediscovered during the Mists of Pandaria. Okay.
Chen Stormstout all the way back during Warcraft 3. But his story, it does not begin here. He wasn't always the legendary brewmaster, nor does he actually come from Pandaria. Instead, Chen Stormstout was born and raised on the Wandering Isle, a massive landmass on the back of a giant turtle, which they call Shenzin Su. His ancestors did indeed come from Pandaria, and the way that they ended up on the back of a massive turtle, that all begins with Lu Lang. Raised on a small ranch in the tranquil valley of the Four Winds, this young Pandaren often wandered the cliffs that overlooked the sea, wondering if anything existed beyond the horizon.
I'm wondering about the turtle. Like, are there more of these types of, giant island-sized turtles on Azeroth? Because really, it's an amazing platform to build, a new civilization, essentially. However, if you're going to be having a situation where the Burning Legion, an intergalactic force, comes to Azeroth, then there's no place to hide, even on a giant turtle. But yeah, it's cool, really. The fact that this giant turtle is alive and it's able to have an entire people's worth of civilization on top of its back, mountains and valleys and all that type of living condition type of scenario, all on its back. Really, it's interesting.
Was after Pandaria was shrouded by mist by their great Emperor Xiaohao to protect his people from the devastation of the Legion and the sundering of the world. Lu Lang's curiosity, it led to him making a bold proclamation. he would embark on a great sea voyage and discover once and for all what had become of the outside world. Ignoring the warnings and ridicule of his fellow Pandaren, Lu Lang gathered a few meager supplies and began his journey. Atop the small turtle Shen Zhu, he sailed through the cloaking mists. Time passed without word from Lu Lang, and the other Pandaren believed that he must have died on his foolhardy venture. Then, 5 years later, Lu Lang returned with incredible tales of mysterious lands and peoples on the other side of the sea. After gathering more supplies, Lu Lang set out once again. This time, he would not endure his journey alone. Shen Zhu had grown large over the years, and Lu Lang's stories, it inspired one Pandaren to join him on the next leg of his voyage. Her name was Shinizi, and she later became Lu Lang's wife. Every 5 years, Lu Lang returned. Each time, Shen Zhu had become larger, and more Pandaren decided to join the eccentric explorer for a life of adventure. This tradition continued for decades, until the Great Turtle had grown to the size of a giant island. Misty mountains and lakes formed atop the turtle shell.
Like, I'm sure the Pandarians also took some of the plants and insects and animals from Pandaria and transplanted them onto the turtle's back, essentially terraforming the turtle's back to become livable for Pandarians. Yeah, that's amazing, really. It's amazing.
In time, villages sprang up across the landscape. They became home to a thriving community of Pandaren, who would eventually name the unique refuge the Wandering Isle. On his final voyage from Pandaria, the elderly Lu Lang fell into a deep sleep from which he never awoke. In death, his spirit merged with the sea turtle himself. Lu Lang's tradition of bold exploration and daring to dream beyond the known, it did not die with him. The Pandaren of the Wandering Isle would carry on his values for many centuries to come, yet over time, those generations, they traveled less and less. They grew comfortable and complacent, and they forgot the lessons of Lu Lang. The spark of wanderlust that had shone so brightly in their hearts, it faded. But not for all of them. Not for our Chen Stormstout, growing up on the Wandering Isle, together with his brother Chon Po.
Let me just write that down. Chon Po. There's a brother, Stormstout. Strong Bow. Okay. Is he also a Stormstout, or is he part of another family? I'm not sure.
And his best friend, Strongbow, or just Bow. They were the greatest of friends. Every single day, they trained together, quickly becoming the top Padawan students. Get it? Padawans, but for Pandarans. Their
Yeah. Okay, noble.
fighting styles, they were very different though. Where Bow was direct, steady and unyielding, focusing on his attunement to the earth and the strength that it offers. Chen, he was more unorthodox, fast and loose, unpredictable but effective.
He was a dancer. This man danced circles around his opponents, making them misdirect, making them look exhausted and tired and foolish, and he just kept on swerving all around them until defeat. Yeah, he's amazing, really. Until Gaurosh was like, no, stop this.
Attuned to not only earth, but also storm and fire. Many considered Chen to be the best of them, while their friends knew that the day was coming when they would have to fight each other to determine who was truly number one, who it would.
Wait, is this game World of Warcraft as well? I don't think I've actually seen this cinematic, or maybe I have and I've forgotten, but yeah, it looks like battles between different characters. Because I think I just saw Chen kick the Lich King.
be to become the Geomaster, trainer of the next generation of fighters. But training and fighting, it was not the only thing that held Chen's passion. Like his ancestors, the Pandaren felt a wanderlust call to him. In his mind, it had been far too long since anyone had gone to seek the outside world, to explore it, undergo fantastic adventures, discover exotic ingredients for his brews and teas, experience life beyond the turtle. Bo told him that years of adventuring, it had taught their ancestors that there was nothing in the outside world that they couldn't find right here at home. He tried to show him that the most important things were right there in front of him, but Chen wouldn't listen. The two of them argued, and when the day of their final test had finally arrived, Chen simply left his best friend all by himself to pursue his delusional fantasies. At least, that's how Bo saw the matters, but
I mean, if I was Shen, I would have just first done this last exam, complete this test and then graduate, and then I'll go out into the world. But anyways.
To Chen, the world was waiting to be explored. We don't even know the full extent of all of his adventures. Some are mentioned briefly, like the time that he tricked Murlocs into making themselves into a stew, teaching ice avatars and frost giants to dance.
How did he convince Murlocs to kill themselves and make themselves into a stew? How? Hey, that's funny.
Make friends with a keeper of the grove while bringing swift retribution to the goblins that had defiled the land. How he was captured by a band of ogres and tricked them into a drinking competition. The ogres, they got so wasted that the sober Chen could make his escape. The wandering brewmaster, he's been all across Azeroth, perfecting his brewing art and fighting style. Too many stories to share in one go, but one that definitely stands out. That is how Chen is responsible for the creation of the Brew Festival. You all know this celebration as the time when you try your best to obtain the mounts while getting drunk off your ass. Yeah, that celebration, it all started with Chen. He had heard that the brew crafted by Grimboo's Thunder Brew, that it was amazing and he wanted to taste it. Now Grimboo's agreed, but only if he could sample what Chen had made. They sipped and they drank and they kept on drinking. Chen even brought forth his jug of 1,000 cups, which did his name proud as it seemed to nearly never run out. Nearly, as at the end they did manage to finally empty it completely. Drunk out of their mind, no winner could be declared. Bo found that the other's concoction was the better one, so to find a fair answer, they decided to have other people try their drinks and have them be the deciders. So began the Festival of Brews, and even back then, Corin Diabrew, he was quite a party pooper. He learned of the contest and he wanted in on it, receiving a grand total of 2 votes, one of them being from himself. Safe to say that Corin was pretty pissed. The brawl that followed had Grimboo's knocked out and Chen coming to his defense. Diabrew decided to retreat, something you've actually seen play out in-game, while the score between Chen and Grimboo's, that came down to 1 single vote.
What's up with this trailer? Blizzard trailer for, I think, yeah, it is for the Brew Festival, right? Yeah. It's funny how everyone's just throwing the mug at each other, and they're drinking, and then they have to pass it on to the next person. Yeah.
With only 1 vote difference, Thunderbrew was declared the winner. If Chen had decided to vote for himself, rather than give his vote to Diabrew as he felt sorry for him, they'd simply ended up with another tie. But that's not who Chen was. He congratulated the winner and swore that he would find the perfect brew. Selflessness, graciousness in defeat, the pursuit of excellence. That's Chen Stormstout. That is the hero that his niece Lily sees him as. But not everyone in his family thinks so highly of Chen. Well, it's great that he's having amazing adventures across Azeroth. Back home, people like Bo and his brother Chumpo, they feel like Chen abandoned them.
Lily is so cute. Still a baby.
He didn't even make it to his own brother's wedding because of his travels. Now Lily, she saw it differently. The moment that she was born, Chen took a liking to her. That spark for adventure, it burns bright in both of them. Something she definitely didn't inherit from her father, rather from her mother. Zhao Li Stormstout was a Pandaren fisherwoman whose spirit would sing each time that she guided her boats, guided away from the shore, out into the open sea. She loved the fishing boats. She loved the sea, even the risk that came with it. A risk that would cost her life, leaving behind her husband, her daughter and son Shishai, older brother to Lily, and nephew to Chen. The death of his wife made Chumpo all the more focused on keeping his family safe and together. The letters...
Like, imagine you already having issues with your brother, who just keeps leaving the Wandering Isles to go and travel, and all you get from him is just a few letters here and there. And now you've lost your wife, who's also been traveling and exploring the seas, and your daughter also has this, you could say it's like a disease of exploring. And yeah, you really panic and try to make sure that your family does not tear itself apart yet again, with another family member leaving. So I understand how what's his name again, Trompo feels about all of this. He lost his wife, his brother is not always here, and now the daughter is also having these thoughts of exploring and leaving the Wandering Isles. He's scared.
That his wild brothers and his daughter, they didn't sit right with him, filling her head with fantasies about the outside worlds. The adventures and dangers could lead to nothing good. But it's not just the stories that she reads from her uncle. The wanderlust, it burns bright inside of Lily, like it sparked inside of her mother.
I wish I could be the perfect daughter.
And sure enough, the death of his wife was a great tragedy. But the time would soon come where one must ask itself whether they believe the death of the body is a greater tragedy than the death of the spirits. Lessons for the Stormstouts to be learned at a later time. Chen's journey that would find him first hanging out in the lands of Durotar, where he runs into the Magnaval Rexar and Rokan of the Darkspear tribe.
Rexar!
I have traveled the wide world, searching for rare, exotic ingredients to use in my special brews. After all, good ale can solve all the problems of this world. Don't you agree? Say, if you're free, I could use your help in locating some special ingredients for my latest brew. If you find the items on this list and bring them back to me, I'll let you sample my masterpiece. I wander alone. Perfect. Perfect! These are just what I needed. Here, try a sample of my latest creation.
What the hell is that stuff? Are you trying to kill me?
Perhaps it needs some refinement. After all, we must learn to crawl before we can run. Don't
I prefer that you learn to crawl before we should run. Shen, if you want to experiment with your new brews, you should be the one to be drinking them, not other people. Yeah.
you agree? Well, now that my brew is complete, I can experience more of this strange, rugged land. Would you mind if I tagged along with you, warrior?
Not at all, Chen. But my path is a perilous one.
Ah, my friend. I found that no path is too perilous when doused with strong drink. Off we go.
His optimism would be put to the test, as Rexar didn't lie. The founding of Durotar and the mighty capital of Orgrimmar, it did not come without its complications. After working together to defeat Archimonde and the Burning Legion.
Was Shen part of the Horde? I don't know if he was really part of the Horde, but it seems like he did work with them time to time. Just like Rexar. You know, yes, he is part of the Horde, but he's also not part of the Horde. He's a loner. He likes to do things in seclusion. He's one with nature. He's not really interested in the internal politics of the Horde. And yes, he may be the hero of the Horde, but his aspirations are not for war chief. You know, he just wants to live his life independently. And I think maybe Shen is the same way, where yes, he's a part of the Horde, but also no, he's not part of the Horde. He's just exploring Azeroth and what it has to offer.
Warchief Vral and Jaina Proudmoore, they decided to do their best and keep the peace between the factions going. The Alliance and Horde have a long history of hostility with each other, but perhaps these two could be the example that the world needed to live in peace. But not all can let go of the past that easily. Jaina's father, Admiral Dalen Proudmoore, he did not believe that this horde was any different than the one that he had fought against, no matter what his daughter might say. So it was that Chen followed Rexxar on his path of becoming champion of the hordes, while Jaina made the impossible choice. She stepped to the side while the horde killed her father, all in the name of peace. Thankfully, Chen doesn't just spend his time in Durotar fighting, he also passes on his secrets of brewing to the orcs. These brewmasters, they would take on apprentices, as heroes found out during Classic WoW. In the Barrens, they came across mementos of the Pandaren, Chen's empty keg, which they brought to Brewmaster Dron. The Orcish Brewmaster remembers the mighty Stormstout brew, even invites adventurers to brew some delicious drinks. Rubbing shoulders with some of the mightiest heroes amongst the horde, passing on his crafts, it does not mean that Chen is part of the faction. He is neutral, and he does not judge a person on the color of their banner. It's one's actions and spirits that Chen looks out for.
I see. So yes, like I said, he's not part of the... Oh, well, I did say he was part of the horde, but also not part of the horde. But here is Noble saying that no, he was definitely not part of the horde. He was just a visitor, just visiting, collecting information, materials for his brews, teaching those who wanted to be taught. But essentially, he was not part of the politics. He was not part of the fighting of the horde versus other factions in Azeroth.
This allows him to also make friends on the Alliance side. People like Magni Bronzebeard, who ran into him around the time of the Third War, around Warcraft 3. They threw back more than a few, and the king told Chen that he was always welcome in his kingdom. No place was left unexplored, even traveled to Outlands around the time of the Burning Crusade, where he obtained a Draenei necklace for his niece.
Did he have a love interest with the Draenei? With one Draenei lady? Did he have a love interest? Oh my.
The many adventures are penned down and sent home to Lily, and there, the young girl dreams her days away, thinking about what beyond the horizon. Her people have lost that spark of wonder that brought their ancestors on the turtle to begin with. She's not like them, and after an argument with her father, she decides to have her own adventures in search of her beloved Uncle Chen.
Life is an adventure!
A story told in Pearl of Pandaria, which is mainly about Lily tracking down her uncle and learning more about his adventures, the ones that I mentioned earlier. Her father eventually sends Strongbow after her, but Lily is a crafty one, not easily convinced to go back home. Instead, he decides to stay at her side, keep her safe, waiting for the moment that she learns that Chen isn't all that great. Remember how Bo feels about being abandoned by Chen. A good thing that he's there though, as our young Pandaren, she's quickly noticed by quite the odd group. There was the Ogre Block with the Alchemist Goblin Roomflitz. They're working together with the Naga Sahara Darksquall and the Orcish Blade Master Rajak.
What do all of these people want with a young Pandarian girl? What do they want with her? Does she have some sort of special powers? Okay.
The orc has dedicated his life to the art of combat. For years, he has traveled the world, seeking out the greatest fighters to test himself against them. Hearing the many tales of Chen Stormstout, of how he was one of the greatest fighters, how all Pandaren are great fighters, it made him seek out the Brewmaster, a challenge that he lost. In humility, he betrayed the oath that he had sworn to remain free of demonic corruption. On Outlands, he drank demonic blood, sacrificing everything that he was to be the best. Now he must find Chen again and prove that he truly is the better. And
the only way he can find Chen is by going to directly to his closest relatives who share his name, like Lily Stormstout. Okay.
After all, our enemies are the steel that we sharpen ourselves against. While Sahara, she has her own reasons for trying to find the Pandaren. She's been ordered by her superiors to find the missing continent of Pandaria, believing that it holds the future of Azeroth. For this quest,
but then why go for the child? Why not go for the adult? Because Lily was accompanied by Bo. Why not go for Bo? Why are you going for the child?
she's going to need the Pearl of Pandaria. Once she nearly got her hands on it, but the Murloc who possessed the pearl, he didn't want to hand it over to the Naga. He stumbled upon the fisherman Wanzhou, and with his final breath he gave the pearl to Pandaren. Sahara then tried to take it from Wanzhou, but a fisherman is never alone at sea. A massive fish, probably one of the smaller ones that he had thrown back in his youth, it carried him to safety. She searched everywhere for him, but no trace to be found. Surely these other Pandaren, they know where to find the fisherman. But Lily, she has no idea what happened to Wanzhou, nor would she tell the Sea Witch, even if she did. No matter. She'll find ways to make Lily talk. With a prime view of the battle between Strongbow and Rajak, all the little Pandaren had to do was to tell her what she wanted to know, give up her secrets, and the battle would end. Or don't, and watch her friend die.
You are just the worst kind of person.
And what a battle it was. Strongbow, one of the greatest Pandaren fighters, he gave it his all to try and save Lily's life. But the Blade Master, he has demonic blood pumping in his veins, not to mention some spicy techniques like the mirror image. Surrounded, the Blade Master mortally wounds Bow. In the meantime, Lily manages to rescue herself, right into the hands of the Naga, who decides to just choke the answers out of her. All seems lost, until a loud noise in the sky announces the arrival of none other than Chen Stormstout. The opponent that Rajak has been waiting for, the moment that he had lived for, the instant when two opponents face each other, evenly matched. A quiet moment in the midst of battle, when one warrior stares into the eyes of the other, mentally executing 100 techniques, exploring countless scenarios, untold outcomes. It is said that a lifetime is fought in that single moment, the breath of eternity. This is what he's been looking for. Death has never been so close, and the Blade Master has never felt so alive.
Storm, earth, and fire, heed my call.
Countering his mirror image.
Storm, Earth, and Fire. It sounds like a band, like a music band, yeah.
With his own Storm, Earth, and Fire. These two warriors truly are evenly matched. When Chen sees that his niece is in trouble, he throws Rajak's blade at Sahara, which ends her life. This might have been the opportunity for Rajak to claim his victory, was it not for Bow stabbing him in the back. Victory for our party of Pandaren. But that wound that Bow took, it means the end of his journey. Lily feels guilty about it all. If she hadn't left home, if she didn't bring him with her, this is all her fault. But the wise Geomaster, he assures her that every choice he made on his own. He thought that he knew so much, but she has given him the greatest gift of all, the gift of enlightenment.
Now, if there was a way to copy and paste that sort of enlightenment with everybody else who lives on the Wandering Isles, maybe things would be different for the Pandarians on the Wandering Isle. Interesting.
Given the chance to do it all over again, he definitely would. Chen and Lily leave him behind to watch the sunrise on his own, so he may spend his final moments in peace and dignity. That feeling of guilt that would stay with her as they journeyed home to the Wandering Isle. Being reunited with her uncle, it feels like solving a mystery, but there are so many more mysteries out there in the world, like the one that the Naga was looking for, like Pandaria. If it exists, they could find it together. But Lily's father, Chunpo, he thinks quite differently than these two. All he really wants to do is keep his daughter and his family safe. He was already forced to live with the fact that his brother abandoned them, rushing off into danger, shirking all their responsibilities, forcing them to rely on sporadic letters just to know whether he was still alive or dead. The death of Lily's mother, lost at sea, only made that fear of losing his daughter that much stronger. So, when she wanted to travel with Chen again, go on their adventures of finding Pandaria, her father was fully against it. Even Chen wasn't really feeling it. It wasn't like he was siding with her father or anything. Chen felt like both had valid points. He just felt happy being home for a bit after spending so much of his life on the road. This was new for him. This was now the adventure. But his niece, she was still young and she hadn't done hers. If Chen and her father had their way, she would never see the world. She would just grow old and decrepit, spending her days making tea and commenting on the weather.
Old and decrepit, okay.
Her life would be a waste. Not the life that Lily would choose. Not the life that she would let anyone force upon her.
Oh, I love exploring.
Remember how the Naga Sahara was looking for that Pearl Pandaria? Well, it turns out that she wasn't wrong. The fisherman Wanzhou was chosen by a Murloc to hold on to the pearl and make his escape. But when he got back to Shenzhen Zoo, the turtle swallowed him up. No biggie. When he looked into the pearl, he saw himself fishing. So that's what he did for a while, until one morning he woke up, he checked the pearl, and he saw himself sailing back into town. He figured that it was time to go then, hopping into his boat, and indeed, Shenzhen Zoo spat him out.
So, is the Pearl of Pandaria able to show you possible futures? Okay.
Now the pearl is kept at the Great Library, where Lily peers into it and she sees herself discovering Pandaria. Keep in mind that this is around the time of the Cataclysm, so they didn't even know if it still existed. Most of the Pandaren on the Great Turtle, they figured that Pandaria had long since been destroyed by war or succumbed to disease or just something. Otherwise,
It's just surprising that, the people of the Wandering Isles don't know the location of Pandaria, Maybe because of time, things have changed, and just like how there used to be an exploratory civilization, they've now regressed and secluded themselves onto their island. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Times change. People, cultures, civilization. Definitely.
they would have seen it again by now. That didn't stop Lily from believing that she would be the one to discover the legendary homeland of their people, with the pearl guiding her and eventually Chen, sent after her by her father to keep her safe. These two, they set out on their quest to find Pandaria. Not a direct road to follow, it took them all over. Ironforge, where King Magni was now a crystal, and the council offered no aid. Stormwind, where Deathwing had just done his thing, the world quite broken from his actions. At Booty Bay, the pearl actually gets stolen by Caitlyn the Blade of the Blackwater Raiders. But the Bloodsail Buccaneers, they raid the ship, lead it into a trap, which is Lily and Chen fighting for their lives. The day is saved by Caitlyn's father, Archmage and Serum Runeweaver of the Kirin Tor. The captain is super sorry about what she did, so she offers to sail them to Ketcheston, where she can most likely hook them up with someone willing to sail them south. But even with a famous pirate's recommendation, finding a willing captain, that had proven to be impossible. Again, Lily turned to the pearl for guidance, and it had shown her a trail across Thanaris beyond the mountains,
Okay, maybe the Pearl of Pandaria is not just something that shows you a possible future, but it seems to be intelligent. It's able to understand what is demanded of it and, give out information to the person who wields it. Interesting.
to the land of Uldum. So, to Uldum, she and Chen went, buying passage with a group of dwarves from the Explorers League. This is set after we clean up the place, so we dealt with Alakir and the Tolvir allied to Deathwing. It would be in the lands of Uldum, where Chen would learn something about himself, something that he hadn't quite realized. The story goes, as the two of them get in contact with a Tolvir named Mendrim, he and his brother Pavet, they were part of the Neverset, those that allied themselves to Deathwing, in exchange for reversing the curse of flesh, regaining their original bodies. Where Mendrim saw that siding with Deathwing, it was a bad idea. His brother was all in. Now captured and put on trial, Memrin is doing everything that he can to plead for mercy, to spare his brother's life. Something in this, it sparks interest from Chen.
Because you can see that these two brothers, they do love each other, but it's not there anymore. Like, it's been suppressed, and what's left is this animosity, this anger, because of past decisions. And he probably sees Shen. He probably sees himself in them, along with his brother Chon Po. Yes, but it's not the same, Shen. It's not the same. It's not like you guys have knives at each other's throats. Yes, Sean Paul might feel abandoned by you and your decision to, go journey across the world. But he still loves you. He still worries about you. He still worries about, his daughter following down your footsteps. Because he's lost his wife through this type of decision. And he's also lost you because you're never here, for those important moments in his life. or important moments of the family. So it's similar, but it's also not at all. Yeah.
When he hears the tale, he thinks back to his brother Champo, and he can't imagine what he would do if they would find themselves on opposite sides in times of war. What he would do, it was his brother that faced the executioner. So our brewmaster, he does his best to help out. He first talks to Buffett, who's all rage and anger. He makes no mention of ever truly being devoted to Deathwing, but he does spend a whole lot of time venting his hatred for Menrim and how he'd rather die with his real family than to be shown mercy. Chen tries to make sense of it. What could have happened to create such a rift between these two? And Lily lets him in on the fact that Menrim simply left. Not because of the Deathwing thing. Even before that, he left Buffett behind to work with the priests. All the time spent away, it made Buffett feel abandoned. It wasn't about teaming up with Deathwing for him. It was about having a place to belong. A similar resentment that Bo had for Chen that Champo still feels. Living a life of adventure out on the road, it meant leaving behind those that cared for Chen. It did not come without consequences, something that he would have to fix later. As for now, he suggests to Menrim that he should be the one to apologize to his brother. At first, the Tolver seems to be down with the plan, but after visiting Buffett, he doesn't acknowledge Chen or Lily. The next day, the sentencing takes place, and Buffett shows no remorse for his actions. This then followed with their executions, but Lily couldn't watch. Chen grasped her shoulders tightly, trying to prevent his paws from shaking. He did watch the executions, though he envied Lily for closing her eyes. He felt riveted, as if some intangible force demanded that he look. As with the speeches, Buffett was fourth in line. He died as unceremoniously as the others. It was over so quickly, and yet it seemed as if 1,000 years had passed. Chen knew that this day would haunt him forever. The moment Menrim saw the death of his brother, he knew that he had made a massive mistake. When he went to talk to him, his brother...
It's too late now. You just have to accept that it's done. And yeah, that's all you can do. Just accept that it's done.
Brother threw accusations his way. The anger between the two, the misunderstanding, the pride, it stopped Menrim from doing what he should have done. Sure enough, he was devoted to plead for his brother's mercy, as long as it didn't involve compromising his own pride. Tears streaked down his face, but Chen and Lily, they can't absolve him, which he knows he's aware about, but he's still grateful that they tried. You'd almost wonder why the Pearl would send Chen and Lily to this horrible place. But the Tolver, he gives them a key to his boat.
Oh, okay, so there is a reason why. But I was just going to say that, this Pearl really does have a mind of its own. And it's able to direct whoever wields it to its desired destination. I'm sure there was probably another way that they could have got a boat that didn't necessarily need them to enter into the fray of this family politics and this culture of beings, and try to interfere and help the brothers reconcile. I know probably the Pearl didn't have to take them here, but maybe it took them here so that Chen could learn about his actions could possibly result into the same sort of scenario where he would have to go up against his brother for some reason. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this Pearl is able to think for itself. It is some sort of self-aware, artificial intelligence, if I can say that, and it's using its powers to make sure that whoever wields it is able to achieve their goal. Yeah, especially if you're Pandarian. Yeah. I don't know about other races, but if you're Pandarian, it will activate and it will help you.
A boat that would send them on their way again, closer to Pandaria. As Chen checked her sacks to make sure that everything was ready to leave first thing in the morning, he noticed that Lily had smoothed a sheet of paper on the floor in front of her. "What are you doing?" Chen asked. "Writing a letter home," she answered. "I figured I should. It's been a while." She looked up at him. Something occurred to Chen. "I'd like to write one too," he said. Lily pulled some scrap paper and another stylus from the depths of her bag. Chen sat on the floor in a different part of the room and flattened the blank page before him. Dear Chompo, he began.
I meant to write you sooner, but I just been busy.
Dear Chompo, he began. I owe you an apology. There are always lessons to be learned for those that keep an open heart. Even someone as well-traveled as Chen. Next leg of the journey, it hurls them into a mighty storm, which flings Lily overboard. Chen is beyond himself, believing that his beloved niece is dead. Not quite yet. She's actually picked up by an Alliance vessel, keeping their eyes on a Horde vessel, the one that picks up Chen. This takes place just before the bombing of Fedamore. So the Horde is testing the waters, scouting it out, and the Alliance, they want to keep the territory safe, so they want the Horde out. Being a well-known hero amongst the Hordes means that Chen gets the royal treatment. It's quite an interesting story, as during the Cataclysm, and at other times to be honest, we saw the Horde and Alliance working together. They have an allegiance to their faction, but also an allegiance to their brothers and sisters in arms, which sometimes comes into conflict with what their king or war chief demands of them. I'll link the short story in the description down below if you want to read it for yourself. To keep it focused on Chen, he would find out that Lily is on the other ship, reunite with her as the Alliance and Hordes blow each other to smithereens. Finally, they sail through an endless fog right into Pandaria. The two of them can't believe it. They've actually done it. Does this mean the spell is broken? Lily asked. Have the mists been permanently lifted? I'm not sure, Chen replied. But I think so. So they'll come, she said. Papa and Chisai and Granny May and all our friends, they'll all come.
Yeah, they will. And more than that. More people. I mean, this is new prime real estate. The two biggest factions on Azeroth are definitely going to come and visit.
An image rose unbidden in Chen's mind. Two ships, side by side, engulfed in flames, cannons firing, sailors shouting, blades clashing. A scene from nights ago, and Chen's grip tightens on Lily's shoulder. Not just our friends, Lily, he said. Everyone. And Chen would be right, of course. But that's a tale that we're going to save for next week, as I think they've been going on for long enough. So for now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, see ya!
Alright guys, yeah, that is it with the story of Chen Stormstout, part 1, lore made on the Noble 87 YouTube channel, requested by Under Grundens Broleri, aka UGB, aka Flipper. Yeah, you know, Shen's story of wanting to explore Azeroth, just like his ancestor Lao Long. Really, it is inspirational for future generations of Pandarians to, you know, let go of Pandaria, let go of the Wandering Isles. Not completely, just go out there and see the rest of the world. Go out there and experience, go out there and learn, so that when you come back, you'll have the knowledge base to further protect your people, to further enlighten your people on what's really going on out there. Because enclosing yourself on an island that's surrounded by mist or on a moving turtle is just not enough, you know. Like I stated before, like if the Burning Legion you know, came to Azeroth with a full invasion fleet and they started conquering this planet, there was nowhere for the Pandarians to hide. There would be nowhere for the Pandarians on the Wandering Isles to hide either. So these are the types of things that they need to be prepared for, you know. As Azeroth continues to change and you know, things start to happen, they need to be knowledged, or should I say, they need to be appraised on what's really going on with Azeroth, so that they are not surprised when certain catastrophes start popping up. Because, you know, secluding yourself is just not a good thing in Azeroth. You need to know what's going on out there. So yeah, the fact that the citizens of the Wandering Isles have lost that exploration part of themselves is also very interesting to find out. because of their founder of this civilization. Lao Lang, he went through so much, he did so much, and only for his descendants to forget, and for them to seclude themselves on the island and thinking that that's all they need. It must have been very sad times for Lao Lang, because his spirit is now connected with the turtle. He sees everything, he feels everything that's happening on the island, and probably he's witnessing his people, his children, just not being the explorers he wanted them to be. So yeah, it must have been a sad time for him, witnessing all of this happen, until the birth of Shen, and Shen wanting to further go out there and explore. He must have been really depressed as a spirit, just watching his people just going about their lives, but not doing what he did when he was young and wild and wanting to travel. And Lily, I like the fact that within the Stormstout family, it doesn't end with Shen, that it's passed down to the next generation of the Stormstout family, where they want to explore, where they want to go and experience and understand more about Azeroth and the different types of peoples that live on the planet. So yeah, that's good. That's really good. And the Pearl of Pandaria, I think this thing is alive, whatever it is. I mean, it's able to show you possible futures. It's like a GPS location thing, and it's able to answer questions or direct you to places where it believes you will find help. So yeah, I think this thing is very powerful. It's intelligent, it's alive, and it's able to control you, it's able to manipulate you and your decisions, because like Lily has been wanting to find Pandaria, the orb or the pearl has been showing her what she should do, how she should do it, and how she'll get to her destination. So yeah, luckily it doesn't seem to have any form of nefarious nefarious workings behind it. Like, it's not going to take them to Northrend and go and collect Frostmoor and use Frostmoor to conquer all of Azeroth, unlike some people that were fooled and now they became the Lich King. I won't mention names, you know who they are. So yeah, at least the Pearl of Pandaria hasn't taken them down dark paths that would lead them to becoming evil. It's just been giving them lessons, teaching them on you got to be close to your family, you got to always communicate with your family, say sorry whenever the opportunity arises. Don't just wait, don't just expect things to be okay. Always be communicating with your family, always be there for your family, especially in important moments like the ones that Chen Po has been having, like the passing of his wife or the marriage of his wife. He had to be there, but he wasn't. So yeah, luckily the Pearl of Pandaria is something that's good for Pandarians. It's not something that's bad or corrupted. Yeah. Okay, guys, part 2, hopefully it will come out next week. I'm hoping. I'm hoping it will come out next week with my reaction to part 2. So hopefully you guys will also be there to see it. Thank you again to Undergrad Grundes Lolari, aka UJB, aka Flipper, for requesting that I should react to this video. And also thank you to Noble87 for making this video based on Chen Stormstout. It's been really interesting hearing the backstory of this of this Pandarian, I should say. And the fact that he was in Warcraft 3 is also quite surprising for me. Like I said, I've reacted to the Warcraft 3 Reforged videos, and I don't remember me seeing Chen in any of those videos. So yeah, it's quite a surprise to see him here. Then he was also talking with Rexar and helping Rexar, and Rexar helping him with his ingredients for his brews. And also the fact that the brew festival was partly created by Chen Stormstout. which is also quite interesting to hear about. I've never heard of this brew festival, but that trailer they showed was really funny. The trailer that Noble 87 showed, where everybody's throwing like the brew cup to the next person to drink and then passing it over to the next person. Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, guys, that is it. That is it with part 1. If you want to check out the original video as well as Noble 87's YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. If you like my reaction, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos, and I'll hopefully see you again for part 2 next week. Okay, bye bye.